Whether it's felling massive beasts or stomping out minor thieves, the Arisen has power to spare. But just how much are we talking about? Well, today, I'll be crunching the numbers and getting to the bottom of the Arisen's abilities. Power, speed, and durability are what we'll be looking at today. And I have a special guest as well. You may know him, but it's our old friend Baby Trungus. Baby Trungus, would you like to explain to everyone what you're doing here?
Yes, I actually broke into your house last night and I have you at gunpoint behind your back.
Marvelous. Well, let's start the video off with the strength feats of the Arisen, shall we?
Yeah, don't freaking try anything.
Strength. Firstly, I want to go over the pushing and pulling of enemies, and in particular the Golem, as it would appear to be the heaviest enemy that we can push over. Judging by the size of the immobile golems, I'm going to estimate that they're about 100 tons in mass. They seem to be relatively the same size as some 100-ton boulders I saw online. And when pushing a golem, we can see that its leg moves about a foot per second. And divide 100 tons by 2 because each leg is supporting about half, giving us 50 tons per leg. So using those two numbers, we can solve for the amount of force our Arisen would have to exert to do that. Using the equation F equals m times a. So the grand total of force our Arisen is exerting is 3,108 pounds of force, or 1,409.8 kilograms of force. To put that into perspective, that's about the force needed to push 30 cars lined up while they're in neutral. This is probably my favorite feat of strength as it's something that we can understand much better. But the boulders that the Arisen can so effortlessly hurl around are likely weighing anywhere from 400 to 500 pounds. For reference, the strongman event known as keg toss only uses kegs weighing about 20 to 50 pounds, and are thrown an average of 17 feet in the air, which is impressive, but compared to a 400-pound boulder being thrown at all is practically nothing to the Arisen. And lastly, for strength, it would simply be the carry capacity of our Arisen. My Arisen is 180 centimeters and 73 kilograms, or 5 foot 10 inches and 160 pounds. Different heights and weights will have a different effect on carry weight. But, since there is no real cap to carry weight, the Arisen can technically lift as much as every item in the game combined. Just from my storage, I came up to about 400 kilograms, which is 881 pounds. Talk about backbreaking. And despite that, the Arisen can still move around at a decent walking pace. Some minor feats of strength to note as well. Being able to destroy an ox cart. Jumping while carrying persons or objects. Seriously, it's harder than it looks. And being able to hold a sword like this. Now that's some crazy grip strength. Speed. Now onto the speed of the Arisen. This section was the hardest to test because there isn't a way to gauge distance in game. A lot of games will have a marker that has distance labeled on it, but sadly not in DD2. So I had to manually measure the bridge by copying, pasting Whittle Wee over and over until I got a distance. Whittle Wee is just about 5 foot 5 inches, and it takes 33 Whittle Wees to span the bridge head to toe. So the bridge ended up being about 178.8 feet long, which will be used in our speed equation, giving us feet per second and then converting it to miles per hour. So let's get into the numbers and methods. Regular sprint low encumbrance. First method is just simply running across the bridge. I got my encumbrance down to the very light amount for this one. Base running speed ended up being just under 15 miles per hour, which is pretty good. Speed with high celerity, a spell that increases movement speed, is 18.2 miles per hour, about a 25% increase in speed. This is overall pretty fast on its own, as the average human can run 8 to 10 miles per hour. But keep in mind this is just running, not sprinting. Or I guess I should say it's dashing. So for just plain running, our Arisen is slightly faster than most. But I wouldn't call it superhuman yet. Burst strike / cutting wind. Both of these end up being just about the same as running on average. I wish you could extend the duration of the sprints so I'd be able to get a better measurement, but they just don't last long enough. Burst Strike is actually what made me want to test all this after seeing it in the first game, and it's a little disappointing to see how slowed down it got. Ravining Lunge. Here's where the Arisen can get pretty nutty. While using Ravining Lunge, the Arisen can get up to 19.7 miles per hour at top speed. And when High Celerity is active, that ups to 24 miles per hour. That's just a few miles per hour slower than Usain Bolt at his absolute fastest, and is actually faster than Usain Bolt if you average his speed. And keep in mind that Usain Bolt only achieved that speed for about 10 to 20 meters at most. Meanwhile, the Arisen can maintain the top speed of Ravining Lunge for 965 feet, or 294.13 meters, while holding a big ass weapon, wearing armor, and potentially supporting a body at the end of the weapon. And if you want to be technical here, the Arisen with the use of the Fairy Stones and Pore Crystals can achieve infinite speed. But by its very nature, teleportation breaks the speed formula. As for it to be calculated, you have to have a distance and time to get a speed. And since during teleportation you travel a distance in 0 time, you can't get a speed. It would be dividing by 0, which is impossible. Now for the minor speed/agility feats for the Arisen. Skull Splitter. Firstly, that's higher than any jump a human could come close to mustering. And secondly, that's easily magnitudes more flips than the world record. Formless Feint. This is a technicality, so I didn't add it as its own thing, but Formless Feint, the Maester skill on Thief, claims it heightens the user's senses to a ridiculous degree. It's basically Ultra Instinct. But also it's not exclusive to the Arisen as it gets taught to us, so it's just a side note. Durability. Next and finally we have the durability of the Arisen. This is mainly going to consist of 2 types of damage that the Arisen goes through: falling and getting crushed. 2 things that, believe it or not, usually kill humans. So let's see how the Arisen fares. Fall surviving. Firstly, we'll cover falls, and this is kind of ironic because I've complained to myself and in videos how the fall damage in this game can be a bit unforgiving, especially compared to the first.
Oh yeah.
But in reality, our Arisen can survive quite high drops that would normally leave humans in pretty bad shape. On average, falls from 4 stories can be survived 50% of the time, meaning you'd be just as likely to die falling from 4 stories as you are to survive. Yet our Arisen can survive a 4-story fall without much issue. All it takes is a simple anodyne and you're good to go. Dragon crushing the Arisen. Next we have the crushing part, and I had to do a little examination of the Drake. No, not like that! I chose the Drake as they just love to fly up and crush us, so they get to be the focus of this. I didn't know how to get the weight of the Drake, but luckily I found this handy little equation online. Look at him. Wings are too small to even fly. Anyways, I had to get a good view of the Drake from the side to measure and use one of the characters near him to get a rough estimate of the length, which ended up being Whittlewee again.
Never fear, for I am here.
The Drake is seemingly 14 Whittlewees and a head long, making the total length 71.85 feet long. And using that and the formula, the Drake ended up weighing about 55,638 pounds. So essentially our Arisen is withstanding the weight of a humpback whale falling on top of them, multiple times a fight. And now it makes sense why Drakes love doing this. It probably works well at killing most things, but not us, because we're built different. Now for the minor durability feats. Getting burnt alive by the dragon. Now this one's even crazier because we weren't technically Arisens at that point either, so this was just our base durability. And this. You'd be hard pressed to find anyone who'd get up after that. Well, what do you think? Do you have a newfound respect for the Arisen, or do you think we can go further? Let me know in the comments. Also, feel free to correct my math. I'm no genius when it comes to math, and even though I quadruple checked, I'm still human and could always have very well made a mistake. Anyways, do you have anything you want to add, baby Trungus?
Stop acting stupid. You allowed me to be killed mere seconds after I was born and did nothing to save me. Well, I'm back. What are you gonna do?
Baby Trungus, is this actually what you think? I didn't do a thing to save you because you were crushed. I thought it was clear you died.
Of course I died. Yet even though you know my species like wake stones, you buried me.
What? How would I know that? I've never met another Trungus at Lake Wakestones.
Really? Oh. Well, you mind if I crash here?
Sure. Just put the gun somewhere safe, please.
I never really had a gun. It was just my hand. Thanks.
Well, that didn't end like I thought it would. Sorry you had to watch that. Maybe I should edit it out.